Clitheroe Castle. Clit Hero E, now with 7 vibrating settings for your carnal pleasure. So you guys notice how no matter who's in charge politically, we'll talk about Britain, and it also works in Canada, America. Call them the Anglo, Australia, New Zealand, the Anglo world, my European viewers as well. I'm sure it's Germany, France. Anyway, no matter who wins in Europe, America, or in the UK, the Social Democrats, Labour Party, the Conservatives, Liberal Democrats in the future, Reform, and like just rewinding slightly, Boris Johnson, you know, Conservatives, we're going to conserve this country. What did they do? They opened the floodgates for migration. Every last Tom, Dick, Harry, Abdul, and Mohammed, primarily from Islamic nations, flooding this country, enriching it with their anti-civilization urges. Not all of them. And that comes on to a very good point. Not all of them, not all migrants. No matter who you vote for, no matter which team of ugly people, because politics is show business for the ugly, no matter which team of uglies you vote in, they are merely puppets on a stage to give you the illusion of choice, because who runs the country? Little doggy? It's the big business and war party. And for some reason, which we'll explain in a second, the big business and war party needed a lot of migrants. After decades following the Club of Rome, where they decided, that was like an early World Economic Forum, Club of Rome, Bilderberg, now it's WEF, World Economic Forum, back at the Club of Rome back in the 70s. They were like, we can unify people, we'll tell them that they are the problem, there's too many people, the environment's gone to shit. Fast forward, you got the Swedish doom goblin. So, you know, Greta Thunberg, who's now like a proper, like, you know, Hamas member. So they told the Europeans and the West, people in the West, they forgot to give the message to the third world. They told the people in the West, unless you stop having children, look at the Chinese, they got one-child policy. Unless you stop having children, the world's gonna go to shit. You're all gonna die, we're all gonna die, everyone's gonna fucking die in a kind of furnace. You know, it's not hot summers anymore, it's a furnace, you fancy people. So what happened was the population in Europe, the births per woman, you need 2.7 to keep the population going. You need 2 kids to replace the mum and the dad, but people die, people have accidents, you want it to grow a little bit, so the 0.7 child, the little retarded 0.7 child, very important. I'm only joking. Have 3 kids, have 4 kids. It's the only way. But anyway, because the big business and war party, primarily the big business party, war is only you have to sometimes clear up the messy native savages around the world from where you want to extract resources. Nothing against that. You know, maybe it's just as well we're run by the big business and war party and not the Tories or Labour, crying chancellor and weird Keir Starmer leader. So because so many elderly people now in Britain and all across Europe, even Japan, my God, they love an old person in Japan, but Europe, America, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, the elderly population is very, very big. You got to pay their pensions, they got to give them the free money, you got to house the elderly and the infirm. I think it's vital. You can judge a society by how it treats its weak. Let's not talk about legal full-term abortions. We'll save that for a different rant. But, you know, a lot of the elderly, they fought in World War II. They are, we call, the greatest generation, and I believe firmly that people in their 80s, 90s, even 70s should be looked after if they cannot look after themselves, because they've probably lived in this country their whole lives, paid tax, paid national insurance, which is our social security for the American audience. So really, to pay for the care of the elderly, you need a lot of young workers. And we don't have a lot of young workers because the Club of Rome said that human beings are shit, and people obeyed them. People are very obedient, especially the British. When the government says put your COVID mask on, don't go to your mum's funeral, don't visit your dad in hospital, don't visit your son in A&E if he's got injured because you're gonna people obeyed it. We all went out every Thursday night and we clapped in front of our neighbor. clap with one hand because I'm holding the phone. Yay, nurses, way, National Health Service, nurses, way! very obedient. So when the government says you got to stop having kids, you know, having kids is hard, very rewarding, but it's hard. You got to get hard. It's very hard. So people, they're like, yeah, okay, nihilism, we don't have Christ anymore, we don't have religion, oh yeah, modern world is shit, modern world is crap, yeah, too many kids, we're going to use up all the resources, oh, Greta Thunberg told me that having kids is bad for the environment. And fast forward to 2023, 2024, in fact, from, say, the year 2005 onwards, the last 20 years, the big business and war party needed workers. And instead, and here's where the conspiracy hat goes on, the kind of tinfoil conspiracy hat, managed decline of the West. Who has too many people? The Chinese have too many people. Why didn't we just import exclusive Chinese immigrants? Like, I should have said to China, Beijing, oi, you've got a lot of Chinese men, and because you had the one-child policy, you've all aborted all the young girls because you prefer men. I've got an idea. Instead of bringing in potentially rapey people from the subcontinents of Asia, why not bring in the Chinese? Everyone loves a Chinatown. When's the last time you heard of a marauding gang of Chinese young men with a machete? Or like forming some sort of grooming, raping gang? No, they just want to do mathematics and play with their chopsticks. I'm joking. Of course, China is an ancient civilization. Bit of a blip in the 20th century with that whole communism thing. Chairman Mao, great leap forward, banging drums to kill all the sparrows because they were eating the grain, and then obviously all the insects ran rampant and ate the grain anyway, so you had dead sparrows. Let's not even talk about Chairman Mao telling people to start a little pig iron furnace in their backyard to create metal. It was all just cult, shit metal, personality cult. Anyway, apart from that blip, I'm a big fan of the Chinese, big fan of the Orientals, but for some reason, Britain's like, I know, we won't bring in high IQ, hard-working Chinese who could very much truly enrich the nation. We'll bring in people from Islamic countries that's already a different ideology, already been at war with Christendom. They've not forgiven us for our very successful crusades reclaiming the tomb and the birthplace of Jesus. The whole crusades was because the Muslims, said to the Jews and the Christians, are not allowed to visit the tomb of Jesus. It's ours now. Islam's the final revelation. You're all shit. Jesus was a Muslim anyway. Jesus just reverted to Islam. And they've got these ideas. So we imported millions. And then what you get? You get grooming gangs, organized Pakistani grooming gangs. It's not even controversial to say these are Pakistani grooming gangs preying on young white girls, and I just don't see the Chinese doing that. So anyway, the big rant is about the big business and war party. The only thing we can do now, two things. Join Rupert Lowe with his Restore Britain movement. I agree with everything he's saying. I'm still a bit funny about the death penalty, but that's my old liberal thinking. But yeah, some crimes, maybe it's best just take them round the back of the head, Axel Rudubadugu, for example, just a quick then he wouldn't have thrown boiling water and sugar over those prison guards. And what about that one, the arena bomber, the brother who built the bomb and helped the guy blow himself? Just a quick a little pop in the back of the head, problem solved. Maybe I've just actually talked myself. I actually believe in it now. So join Restore Britain. Remigrate all the illegal migrants. They're costing this country billions. What are they doing here? They're not trying to be British. They're not trying to help out. Maybe in the back of their heads they're like, yeah, we are Muslim conquerors. Yeah, look at these stupid white Christians. They're even paying for us to replace them. Yeah. Charlie, what are you doing, Charlie? What is that? So Overton window is exploded now. Either we're all racist or we're going to save the country that we love. We are the natives. Yes, I'm half Brazilian, but you can trace my father's side, the bit that manifests as the man, all the way back to William the Conqueror of Orange. Well, yeah, Orange guy. But so yeah, I'm British since birth. I'm the best country on earth. I'm very lucky to have had a Scottish British father who was maybe one of the most patriotic men. The last few colonialists in East Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, we even did West Africa before the Africanization policies to replace all the white people, because you know what? the more research you do, you find out white people are the least racist on earth. It was actually the British in 1807. I said 1812 in the Liam Tufts show, but 1807, the British sacrificed 20,000 young men in the war on slavery. No one else did that. Chinese didn't do it. The Muslims, oh my God, the Muslims. Dude, the Muslims still had slaves in Saudi Arabia up until like 1978. I'm sure they still do have like a lot of like Filipino maids, Bangladeshi maids that just don't pay them. They take their passport. Thank you, Laura, for moving the baby. The baby's getting a bit gargly now. I appreciate that. Laura's a very supportive woman. Like, here I am, ranting away. So, the other thing we can do apart from joining Restore Britain is just for all the native British, start rutting, guys. Start getting pregnant. Start pumping out those babies. It'll take 18 years, obviously, for the babies to turn into adults. But 18 years, when you're in your mid-40s, 18 years, you're like, it's not that long. 18 years, guys. Start pumping out those British babies. And like, if you're like, oh no, I'll never bring a child into this world. It's that very thought, oh, I'll never bring a child into this world, which meant that the big business and war party had to import so many uncivilized people from uncivilized parts of the world, war-torn regions. Really scary shit. Really scary shit. So, demographics is destiny. We're going to save Great Britain. This is our big test. This is our cross to bear. How do we do it without being too racist, too scummy, too bigoted? And I think the test is the migrant adopting British culture? Are they praising Britannia? It's like, bow to Britannia or get back on the boat, mate. I'm sorry. Bow to Britannia or you're back on the boat. It's as simple as that. How is it controversial to say if you're going to move to Britain, you can't just sit in a tower block, you know, becoming culty, making your women wear the burqa and just taking the money and go, yes, F these stupid white Christians. We're here to replace you. No, we don't want that. We're not going to pay for it. We don't have to explain why. It's our country. Don't have to justify it, do I? Anyway, have kids, join Restore Britain. The momentum is with us. Islamists, Islamic terrorists, they've lost all the momentum. They've lost the balls. I said on the Liam Tufts show, when we start exploring the stars, International Space Station, Moon Base, Mars Base, I don't think the insurance companies would give insurance for Muslims in space. It's an ideology that may not be compatible with the West, and I don't think an insurance company would insure a Muslim in space, because it's an ideology that has a lot of bad ideas in it. I'm sure there's a lot of good ideas in it, a lot of, like, you know, respect for the elderly, you know, don't be a pussy, you know. Muslims, when they get fired up, they're not pussies, and, you know, that warrior energy would be very good for the new British Empire. So, if you can bow to Britannia, you're welcome to stay, or fuck off. This is Charlie Veitch at Clitheroe Castle on a lovely, lovely day in June. Thank you for listening.